Again, I'm faced with the reality that this is a video I need to make. I'm not doing this because I enjoy making negative rant type videos, but I feel as if I have a responsibility to get the message out as to why so many people who play Peacekeeper as a main or just a side hero are furious and disappointed with her treatment in these recent patches. Now, I held out an extreme amount of optimism when I heard Ubi was planning on using values from Testing Grounds Part 2. What I did not expect was that information to not be present for 100% of the cast. Granted, the damage numbers are more reasonable for most of the cast. This achieves the goal of lowering max punishes and allowing most fights to last longer, which was the goal of this entire CCU. These changes are good, except for the fact that a few heroes, mainly Peacekeeper, were completely gutted to the point of absolute uselessness. Now we'll get into my argument as to why Peacekeeper needs a hard looking at in terms of where she sits now. I'm not asking for special treatment for the hero, but I do ask that she at least be given the proper attention and not lost in this damage standardization that you guys keep doing. I'll give a few examples of why she needs to change and how she can change to put her back up in the average pool that most heroes are being funneled into right now. The identity of Peacekeeper has been misplaced by the developers in terms of how her combat should be. In the beginning, Peacekeeper was designed to be fast, hit hard, and get out of there while bleed took the enemy's health down. It would cause them to panic and attack recklessly, and she would counter. In the terms of the meta now, that just doesn't happen. The speed of attacks and damage of every hero now outweigh and outcompete Peacekeeper, and that is an irrefutable fact. If you want to have the stance that Peacekeeper's damage is equal and fair because she can apply 1 extra damage and 10 bleed after a heavy over 8.5 seconds, then I will happily debate you into the ground, because in every game mode and every fight, direct damage is always 100% superior. Bleed damage numbers have been completely ignored during this entire patch. No bleed numbers have been adjusted at all. And we've had, 3 updates now that change damage values? But bleed is being used to justify lowering direct damage of heroes who already deal less than average damage across the board. Peacekeeper's guard break should not deal 38 bleed. That's asinine, and I'll be the first to admit it. That's way too much. But it's an all bleed attack, so it hasn't even been looked at by the developers. I don't want a singular attack in a hero's arsenal to be almost triple what a normal heavy attack is. It makes the hero unfun, predictable, and so boring to play. It just doesn't make sense. It just makes every other attack option utterly pointless to go for. So that's my complaints on the bleed right now. And I have a very simple solution to it. And it's just lowering the bleed value applied by Peacekeeper. You keep the same duration as to not make her enhanced lights obsolete, and the lowered bleed damage will be replaced with a more solid hitting heavy, to be at least able to get executions, because right now it's the rarest thing in the game to see a Peacekeeper get an execution. Her damage would be slightly less in terms of the rest of the cast, but by not solely relying on bleed, which again does not work at all in this meta, will allow the balance team to justifiably move her numbers back up. With this fast-paced fighting in place, with hidden indicators and a more read-based offense, Peacekeeper is left behind because her identity of being a bleed and run character doesn't work anymore. Everybody's as fast as her now. No matter how skilled you are at the game, how many hours you put on the hero, you cannot survive long enough for the bleed to do the work that the developers expect it to do. And even if you can, it's a really, really unfun and boring way to play that no one prefers. Nobody prefers to fight against it, nobody prefers to play like that. And we haven't even begun to talk about how stupid it is to have a frame delay on her one soft feint beside a guard break. The simple thing to do is give it advantage. However, if they wanted to go above and beyond, which I wholeheartedly welcome, they could make it a chain starter. If it's the first attack in a combo, this option would require some slight animation tweaks to make it look more natural flowing into her second light, but I believe it could be done with some slight adjustments. But back to the main issue of the dagger cancel. It makes no sense that throwing out a soft fainted light should completely reset the fight back to neutral. It does minuscule bleed damage, and it doesn't make sense. We have a hero like Shaman who keeps her advantage after landing her soft fainted bleed stab. which is exactly the same move mechanically, but it's just omnidirectional. It's moves like these that are the same mechanically, but are treated so differently in this frame advantage system that Ubi has created. It's flawed, and it leaves heroes like Peacekeeper in a blatant disadvantage state. These changes wouldn't even make Peacekeeper overpowered or overtweaked. It would just make her able to hold her own, which she can't even do right now. I'm not just a salty player who's speaking out because, oh no, my hero is trash now, I want her to be overpowered. I just want the hero that I enjoy the most to be on a fair playing field, because right now, with how experienced I am in this game, and with Peacekeeper in general I might add, she's in a really, really bad spot. I'm speaking out for all the Peacekeeper mains and those who play her on the side, who feel like they don't have a voice or feel as if they're being forced to choose a new hero because of how weak she's become. I'm asking you all to speak out with me. Post on the Ubisoft forums, For Honor's Reddit threads, anywhere Ubisoft gets their player information. Just all I ask is you don't be whiny. Hit them with the facts and offer solutions too. You can come up with different ideas than I did, but this was just me sitting down and figuring out what would work, what wouldn't be too crazy, just simple solutions that would make a hero that has been with me for 4 years now just fun. Make Peacekeeper fun again. That's all I ask. So, go ahead and enjoy the rest of this fight. I'm not going to chat your ear off anymore. I'm tired of making these videos. I really am. I'd rather just get back into the gameplay, but I think For Honor is just in this weird growing state right now, and every little update they come out with, there's going to be mistakes, and there's going to be good things. We just have to point out the mistakes, and hopefully they listen. And once everything's, peachy keen, we can go on with the game and hopefully keep pushing it in the right direction. Because right now, it's a weird tween growing stage. It's really weird. But thank you all for sticking with me through this. Just gotta stick together and keep telling them what we want. Thanks, guys.